Day is over. It's time to start thinking about that next vacation.
Atlanta News first consumer investigator Better Call Harry says fall is a great time to find Caribbean cruise deals, but there's a catch.
There always is. Live at 5, Harry's here to protect you and your money no matter where you go. Harry?
Well, I didn't go anywhere, but I can still dream, guys. Well, listen, this is the perfect time to talk about financially protecting yourself on any trip that you take. Fall is off season for cruises because it's hurricane season, and that is why there are so many deals. Still, I wouldn't book any trip without travel insurance that protects you against trip interruption or health coverage for an emergency. Take a look at these deals. Royal Caribbean is offering up to $800 off. Scroll through Virgin Voyage cruises and there are big discounts on most of its itineraries. And look at Disney, 50% off third and fourth guests on select sailings, but not until October. What could go wrong? I don't know. Maybe a hurricane? This is where travel insurance comes into play. Let's take a look at one of the largest travel insurers around, Allianz Travel. It has an entire Q&A section about hurricanes. Buy one of its policies and it can reimburse you for non-refundable prepaid cost plus the extra cost of flying home early up to the maximum amounts spelled out in your policy. In other words, it all depends. If a hurricane is predicted, but the cruise is still on schedule, a basic plan will not let you cancel unless you upgrade your coverage. Here's a $262 quote for a 6-day trip to the Bahamas. It covers up to $4,000 for cancellation, $6,000 for trip interruption, and it includes medical for up to $50,000 and up to $500,000 for emergency transportation. Why is medical so important?
On Friday morning, the doctor came in and said, "You're going to be here for a long time."
Because what if something really bad happens? Roseanne King and her husband got stuck in a small hospital in Puerto Plata, a small coastal town in the Dominican Republic. Unlike American emergency rooms, most Caribbean hospitals make patients pay in advance.
Before you even stayed the night, before they did anything, they charged you $5,100?
Yeah,
just like that. And if we didn't give my card, we would probably go, I don't know what would have happened.
Roseanne King had double pneumonia, had to take a $36,000 emergency flight home. But the Kings were smart. They used a different insurer and bought the highest coverage it offered. They had a little trouble getting reimbursed for the $7,100 hospital bill. But with a little nudge from us, they got it. And they had trouble because the hospital did not give them an itemized receipt. That's pretty common in the Caribbean. I want to add some advice from Consumer Reports magazine. Insurance companies have their own credit ratings agency. It's called AM Best. We looked up, I'm going to say this right this time, it's not Allianz, it's Allianz. So we looked them up, American Express, we looked up Travelers, and for example, they all have superior ratings of A+. Berkshire Hathaway, I hope I'm saying that right, is at the top with an A++, guys.
So Harry, what about comparison sites like Insure My Trip or SquareMouth.com?
Okay, all right. I have talked about this in the past, and it is worth checking these sites. I'm not going to say anything bad, but they have a select group that's less than 20 insurers. In other words, they have providers, specific providers. They're not searching everybody. In fact, when we looked, all the companies that I named earlier were not on their list. So yes, go there and look. But at the end of the day, just make sure it's a good rated company. I'm Better Call Harry, Atlanta News First Investigates.